came to this city is because my sister is here, and my parents are not far away from here. Only 3 or 4 hours if I take the train. And in the future, me and my sister are gonna take our parents to also live in Shenzhen city.
When I first came here, there was something that you would hear all the time. People talked about Shenzhen speed. Actually, I haven't heard it in years, but 10 years ago, people talked about it all the time. And it was basically, literally, like you would see a whole floor in a building go up in a day. 20-story building, 20 days, the building's there. And many times I'd gone home for summer break or during Christmas time. And when I come back, there's a whole new building, even whole new roads to get around. I tell the taxi driver, turn left here, and realize, the road's gone, or there's a new road.
When I was very young in Shenzhen, it's very old and it's a very small, like a small town, not as good as now. As we can see the tall buildings and many cinemas and anywhere we can go. It's very easy and convenient. But in the past, when I was a young girl, no bus, no taxi, and no the subway. Yeah, subway was built when I was 12 years old.
The first time I got on a bus from one place to another in Shenzhen, I was totally unprepared for how long that bus ride was going to be. And I was sort of late to get to a religious service. It was the Jewish New Year. And I was sitting on this bus looking out the window thinking, we must be there soon. The city can't be that big. We just left all the buildings behind. We seem to be in a totally green wilderness area now. And then all of a sudden we're back into like what seemed like a whole new city. I think I was just confused by how big the place actually was.
In the past, there's no tall building and not so many houses or apartments. Just some how do you say? Just some flats. Yeah, but with one or two grounds. Yeah, so we just live along the river. Yeah, it's very easy. Yeah, and maybe this is the big room. And with a toilet, a kitchen, and no more other rooms. Yeah.
深圳改变相当发展得快。最近30年，我们来的时候还是一片荒山，还没修好多房。现在发展得真快，真的。
This is actually an urban village right now. This, including the square and these buildings that are not so tall. I think basically what happened is that there used to be a group of people who bought the land with very little money, or just somehow inherited the land from their parents, their grandparents, and they owned the land before the price of housing, the price of land started to go up like crazy in Shenzhen. And they built houses, they built small houses and buildings like these. And then the price started to go up, and they are very smart people, so they started renting out these to others, and they benefited a lot. But this is a small group of people. These are people that we call local Shenzheners, who actually have enough money. These people have enough money probably for their next 2 or 3 generations to live on without working.
I guess to someone I would describe it as a poorer, more colorful, smellier part of town. Because it definitely is the villages are definitely alive. They're alive with literally all kinds of things and creatures, and then all the things that are there that you can eat, and then of course alive with sights and sounds and smells and all kinds of people really everywhere.
It was a city that was built to transition China from, old school Maoist collectivist communism to a sort of new concept for what China could become in terms of a country that engaged with the world in trade, in commerce, and essentially in capitalism. And the location of the city is across the river from Hong Kong to take advantage of trade with Hong Kong, which is a very international city. So I basically see Shenzhen as a materialistic city.
If you come to work in Shenzhen for like a year, for example, you can save up a lot more money than you can, say, if you worked in my home city, Kunming. A lot more, twice or even 3 times, but depending on the type of jobs you have.
This is a city where the Chinese and the foreigners comes to make money.
They're here to make money. They're here to accomplish something. Actually, one of my very first projects as a consultant was in a factory, helping them set up a new location, hire workers. It was to build an inspection team within a factory. And coming from the US, I remember we worked very hard to make sure that they had a very good sleeping accommodations, that their work was scheduled very well. They worked only 8 hours a day. And we actually had a revolt within our employees. They were upset. They didn't want to work only 8 hours a day. They traveled, they came here from very far away. They came to Shenzhen to work. And they wanted to work like 16-hour days. They didn't have friends here. They didn't come to socialize. Their mission was to come here, work as hard as they could for a few years, and go home with some money.
Its reason for being is basically to make money, to do business, to do trade. And that's what a lot of people come here for.
Okay, that's fine. They come to make money. This is a city that was created to do that.
They planned this city actually really well. So in the economic part, Shenzhen is amazing. It's an amazing city. I'll give you the example of my city, which is my city is 480 years old, and it's nothing compared to this one. It's nothing. Like in 480 years, we haven't been able to do as much as this city has done in 30 years.
Because every time if the weather is rainy, the house will get very dirty because it's made of mud. Very, very original one. You cannot imagine that. How can Shenzhen, like such a city, 30 years ago or maybe 20 years ago, it changed a lot. Very, very different. Yeah.
In Shenzhen city, most of the people are from other places, so we are equal. It's not in Shanghai or Beijing. There are so many original people, so the people can say, hey, we don't welcome you. But in Shenzhen city, we all knew, we all don't really belong here. So people are very equal.
Because it has a short history and it's an open-minded city. Basically, I think because it's young and it needs new blood in flow into the city. Yeah, because in Guangzhou they speak Cantonese, and if you don't speak Cantonese, some people will despise you. They really will, and it's the same when you go to Hong Kong. If you don't speak English and Cantonese, if you speak like mainland Chinese, some people will not answer your question. Yeah.
We have 18 staff in our department, but people are from 8 countries. 8 countries within 18 people. So it's really amazing.
Shenzhen is a place that welcomes everyone.
If I'm talking to a Chinese person and ask where they're from, I'm usually expecting that they're from somewhere other than Shenzhen. But if they tell me that they were actually, if they're from here, they were born in Shenzhen, then I'm usually a little surprised.
If you go to the street, you talk to any Chinese, you ask them, where are you from? They will be like, I'm from Hubei, I'm from Chongqing, I'm from Beijing, I'm from this other place. Nobody's actually from here.
我是在咱们中国的河南省出生的，然后做的是纺织工人，这50岁就退休了。退休了以后，我的女儿在这地方工作。90几年就是咱们国家一开放，我的女儿就来了，然后他们就在这地经历。我现在退休了，他们也把我接来了，然后就在这地方一块生活。我非常喜欢深圳这个地方，美丽的城市。
It's very beautiful, and you can see Hong Kong from there. And the air is very good, and at the weekend you can see many people just walk along the seaside. It's beautiful, and you think this is life.
Yeah, I want to try different cities in China or other countries. Yeah, I want to move.
I see it as home in terms of this is where I live now, but I don't see it as a place to settle down.
I have never met someone that actually said, oh, I feel at home here. Like I've never met any foreigner that actually said, oh, I want to live here, I feel this is my home.
No, because I want to finish my PhD, so I have that in plan, and to finish that I think the best option is to go back to Italy.
I use the word home. I say, oh, I'm going, usually if I leave, I'll say, oh, okay, I'm going home, which means I'm going back to Shenzhen. But I think, Los Angeles is my home, and eventually I do plan to go back there.
Shenzhen is a very good, kind of like a port for people to land on when they come to China. It's easy to exit to Hong Kong. It's easy to come in from Hong Kong. I see some of them developing, going further into the mainland after a couple years here. I also see a lot of them leaving after the first year or second year here. A small number of them end up staying for like more than 2 or 3 years.
I met some people here I really liked, but they're leaving. It's like every three months I have to say goodbye to someone. I don't feel good about it. The world is so big. Today you're living, maybe in the whole life, we're not gonna meet anymore.
podcast.